Okay, I think we're live. Welcome. My name is Eva Palakova. Welcome you to the Business and Freedom and Sovereignty Chat. Kind of working with the name and seeing what feels good as we evolve the show that I do about once a week. In this show, I bring topics with regards to moving your business to the new paradigm and operating at high frequency. And how do you build that kind of business that is really for those of you who are really, really passionate about contributing to the healing of the world, really contributing to the liberation of, our from the different grids, from the different wounds that we have, and you're really doing that in the world. So welcome. I'm happy to be here with you. Please let me know who's watching here. I can't see you guys. And also I will ask if you are, hi Cynthia, so good to see you, darling. If you could click for me the link in StreamYard that allows me to see your name, that would be super, super helpful. So, good morning, everybody. Happy afternoon. I have a few topics I would love to discuss. For those of you watching the replay, put in please hashtag replay. A Facebook user says, Eva, I finally caught up with you. I'm wondering who the Facebook user is. Please let me know. You guys have to click that whatever link or let me know who's here. Thank you, guys. All right. So topics. I have some different topics. Frequency bifurcation in business. What does that mean? I'm going to talk about layers of self-doubt. What happens when you fall out of resonance with different business coaches or different coaches in general. And then I plan to give you some tips on your branding audit to make sure you can actually really, really resonate with your ideal client. So, frequency bifurcation in business. Let's settle in for this. Okay, Rose is here. Wonderful. Shireen is in the house. Beautiful. Good to see you, darling. Okay, I am so excited to hang out with you guys. Oh, by the way, before I get started, has anybody here read the study? There was a study by a Japanese scientist on water. And there is a thing with water. I encourage you to grab your own glass of water or bottle of water, whatever. And water, the molecules of water respond to how you speak to them. They even label the jar of water with different words, and the molecules of the water changed based on how they were speaking or what they were saying or how they labeled the water. What does this mean for us? Water makes 80% of our body. And some of the ceremonies that I have been to, the latest one was with Kambo medicine, which is this frog detox, really, really beautiful and strong detox. You drink water when you start the ceremony, and they ask you to program your water with your intention. And this is so, so, so powerful. So I encourage you to maybe play with this a little bit and program your water with some intentions. Maybe it's just love. I'm just going to program my water with love, and then I'm going to drink it. Has any of you, I'm curious if you guys have heard this or if you practice this in your day-to-day. So, without further ado, let's talk about frequency bifurcation in business and what do I mean by this. About 2 years ago, I was working on doing 3 years ago, I was doing some muscle testing research with my former partner. And we were muscle testing the frequency, the level of consciousness of different functions in business. We were muscle testing, where do you operate when you give a public talk, or when you do marketing, when you do copywriting, when you do sales, right? And it was all over the place. On the Hawkins map of consciousness, I don't remember exactly the numbers, but writing your marketing copy somewhere around 245, which is integrous, but it's not like unless it is, right? working on your website calibrates at a certain frequency. Giving a talk, it just depends what the talk is on, right? But that tends to be generally higher. Running your workshops, you feel the vibe and you're really connected to your audience, right? So there is that side of things. Like there is a baseline given for different functions. No, that doesn't mean that you need to fall into the baseline. It doesn't mean that you need to go down in frequency when you're working on your marketing. Now, here's the deal with business. There is a lot of different influences and a lot of different programs and a lot of different business coaches that are contributing to I'm going to say the fall of consciousness within the coaching industry. And that's not bad in itself, right? That is not bad in itself. It's like you kind of have to follow what you need to follow to get it out of your system, right? So you follow somebody who's telling you in business, you have to do things this way and you have to employ these tactics that are totally just not in alignment with you. And you do that for a while and you get this out of your system, right? So that in itself is not a bad thing. And you see a lot of that in our industry, and quite, just for full transparency, like a lot of us contributed to that, myself included, because we really didn't know any better, right? Like it's the unconscious, like you operate at a certain frequency and you believe something to be true until you don't. So what does that look like for marketing and sales? So for example, for those of you do a healing work, right? Or you do, okay, Rose says I've been there. Okay, great. Cynthia says that I've been about the experience. Good. Okay, great. Thanks to you so much for letting me know. So in business, you're going to, right, there is this pull and there is this collective belief system of control when it comes to marketing and sales. In comparison to your client work, where if you have healed enough, you're coming to your client sessions very much clear. You're focused on the client. You're really, truly focused on service, right? Especially if you are in some version of therapeutic liberation healing space, and that's what you do with clients, right? In the business coaching, that's a little bit different, right? That takes a while to arrive to that place, and it's not typical for the business coaching profession for people to be coming from pure love, right? But in the healing space, people who have done their healing, who are experiencing a lot of love, are bringing that to their clients in those healing sessions. But then, right, you're doing your healing and it's beautiful and you love it. Then it comes to marketing and you tend to hate it and it doesn't quite align and you don't know what to do about it, but you have been told, by people who don't quite get the frequency where you're at, you're told that it has to look a certain way in order for you to get the clients, right? And this is kind of the trap that you wind up in. And now you get so wrapped up in the world of messaging, the world of in order to-ness, which is what I call it. I haven't found a better name for this, but it's basically in the mindset of gettingness, wantingness, must do this to get the client. And notice when you're on a call with a prospective customer, you're just noticing the discomfort of your own frequency of like, I want to get them as a client so that I can provide, I can grow my business, I can look good, whatever. And then layered on that, because that's kind of the thing that you're hooked into of the collective and what's kind of playing in the industry, right? And then you're experiencing guilt of that. You're like, this doesn't feel good, but I'm supposed to kind of have this energy going into the skull, and it really doesn't feel good at all. So that's where the ick starts coming from. Let me know if any of this resonates, or if you feel like you have been there. It's one of the reasons these sales calls or follow up, think about following up, right? Imagine a situation where you're like, okay, I'm going to follow up with somebody who said that they weren't quite ready, and I want to ask them if they're ready yet. Think about that. Bring that situation to your mind and think about what this brings up for you. I'm like feeling this, like, as I'm even talking about it, I'm like feeling the nervousness, like feeling the heat of it. You guys with me or not so much? Let me know in the chat. I'm super curious, right? Because that starts bringing up so much, and you're writing the follow-up message, and there's nothing energetically clear about it, right? Because there's this like, oh, should I? That I'm going to push them, then I feel like a bad person if I don't. But if I don't follow up, then, right? Okay. Somebody says Facebook user, I'm not sure who you are, but I had to move away from calling myself a coach and embrace being a healer. And I threw every rule book away for this launch. The ache is gone. So beautiful. I so get that. Isn't that beautiful when that happens? Let me know who you are who said that. So cool. It's exactly, right? It's exactly what I'm talking about. But it's the fear that tells you you can't do that. You have to follow the rule books, right? And you really truly, like, it's not that you don't follow up, it's the intention, it's the energy with which you do that. I feel a lot as I'm even talking about it, because this has been such a work. And I still, like, okay, I share with you guys, like, sometimes I share with you, hey, here's an offer that I have, and it's like so much cleans up. Okay, what is it that is messing with the frequency here? Yes. Okay, great. You have to give, thank you, Shireen. Yeah, you gotta give them permission. Okay, right. So this is the frequency splitting that goes on. And the way you get out of that is really, it's an opportunity for healing. It is not right and wrong. It is supposed to be so. Remember that your business is a tool for spiritual transformation. It's your medicine. For your clients, whatever you coach on is their medicine. You see, if you're a relationship coach, then for them at this point in time, working on their relationship is their medicine. That's how they access, their healing, their liberation, because of the amount of triggers that is showing up for them, right? The triggers are kind of like gives them window, the struggles, the fights within their relationship, that is giving them windows in the wounds that need to heal, right? So that's what's happening, right? My medicine is business. That's why I love business so much, because it's an endless opportunity for transcendence and transformation, right? So what you do is that you don't say, oh, that's wrong, that's terrible, it's the coach's fault, or whatever, whoever told me to do that, right? This is where you really take your power back by slowing it the heck down. When you do marketing, when you're sharing those posts, when you're messaging people in the DM, when you're sending those emails, and you're hyper aware of what's arising for you, you're hyper aware of those frequencies that are coming up for you, and you take that hint, and you go within, and you start this wild, crazy journey of healing yourself through your business. It's like the next layer for you, right? So you tackle this, now you work with clients on that, whatever this is, be it relationships, be it, general life coaching, whatever it is. Now business is kind of like your next thing, right? So that you can bring up every function in business, be it working with a team, being investing in yourself, being offering things to people, be it running the operations, your relationship with tech, right? For those of you who are resistant with tech, you tend to say, okay, I'm blaming the tech. The tech is bad. It's just I'm too old or whatever, or I'm too this, and it just doesn't work for me. It's an entry point. It's literally just an entry point for your next level of healing. So that's on that. I don't want to spend too much time talking about this. Can you guys hear the rain? I don't know. I hope it's not too loud, but it's kind of fun. We're in rain season here in Costa Rica, and I love the rain season. Yeah. Cynthia says, me, I hate the tech. Yeah, it's an opportunity, right? It's an opportunity to clear something up within your light body, within your belief system, whatever it is, the resistance, right? Facebook user says, love the rain. Thank you, Facebook user. I'm guessing that must be Shireen or someone else. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Okay, so next thing I wanted to chat with you is about working with different coaches and following different coaches and what happens when you fall out with resonance with them. So, we hold as coaches or mentors or healers, we kind of, for as long as we're committed to running a certain version of our business and our program, we are stewards. Let's take a breath. We're stewards of that frequency. You see what I mean? We are holding a certain frequency for people. Whether the frequency is low or high, it doesn't matter. There is a room for every frequency because it gives you exactly what you need. Okay? There are schools of thoughts that think it would just be like the most highest frequency teachers out there, and that's all you should follow, and you should just read the Bhagavad Gita or whatever and forget the rest. I don't believe that. I don't relate to that. I don't resonate with that, because whoever is, wherever you are, whatever you're working on, there is a room for the person who has walked through your steps. Even if they're just 5 steps ahead of you, they still remember what it was like for you to walk those steps. They have that frequency within them, and more than that, they have the instruments, they have the tools to help you walk through that. Where it's as opposed to somebody who's done this in 37 lifetimes ago, it's like, okay, they can give you kind of the target, okay, the enlightenment, whatever it is, but the teacher who has just walked through that and who has embodied that aspect and who has liberated themselves from that is going to be quite helpful to you in that place of time. So, does that make sense to everybody, what I'm saying? Do you guys agree with that? If you're in complete disagreement with that and it doesn't resonate with you, don't take that. And I would be curious to hear your opinion on that, right? Because I know this is in the spiritual communities. You should literally just read the Bible and follow Jesus, and that's it, right? It's like, okay, but there's some really dogmatic and okay, Rose. Oh, thank you. Okay, Rose says, yeah. Okay, Rose knows. Rose, you know what I'm talking about, right? There's like a dogma to it, like not like just memorize this and that's it, right? But that's what happens is that you're literally like achieving enlightenment in your head, theoretical enlightenment, and it doesn't like it resonates, but it doesn't at the same time. You're not getting it. You're just getting it up here, but you're not getting the teachings in your body, right? So that's why there is a room for all of us. All of us. And I'm going to say something super controversial that I actually heard my mentor said, Christina Schwint, and she mentioned this, and I was like, holy shit, this is brilliant. There's no wrong way. You will come across a dark teacher once in a while. Somebody who's teaching you good stuff, but their motivations might be at the level of pride because they want to teach you that, even though it's a high frequency stuff they're teaching you that with the motivation of personal gain, pride, and whatever. Okay. And Christina said, it's just resonated like, okay, but your soul is pulling you there for a reason. There's something for you to heal. There's something for you to complete, and you will outgrow them and you'll be done with it and you're done. Okay. So when you have worked with somebody and it starts getting flat for you, okay. Okay. Somebody says, okay. One person says resonating. Another Facebook user says that's truth, right? Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, that just really, really resonated with me because I have followed some people who were operating even in a business, right? A lot of business coaches who are still ingrained in like the super, super masculine. You gotta check your boxes. You gotta, just do. And there is a time and place for that. When we start getting positional and divisional about that, right, that's a trap because there is a time and place for that. And some of you have been there, some of you're still in that, right? And some of you are on the other side of it. And and whatever shape or form, there's room for all of it. However, when you sign up to work with a coach, at some point, if the coach is committed and they have a contract with themselves or whatever, they have a commitment to upholding that level of frequency, eventually you will outgrow them. That is your intention, to outgrow your teacher. Okay? There is nothing wrong with you. They're holding that frequency. Okay? They have that, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? They're holding that frequency, and you will eventually outgrow them. When that happens, there's like two versions of this. Sometimes people are in resistance, and they start saying things like, oh, this doesn't align, because they hit a resistance block. That's not what I'm talking about. Sometimes it just starts landing flat for you, and you're like, okay, this isn't interesting anymore. Like, it just doesn't activate me. They happened to me literally 2 months ago when I signed up to work with a coach, and it was intensely activating for about, I want to say, 2 weeks. It was intensely activating, and she's wonderful. She's really great, and she's at a $45 million mark, and in the business coaching space, and probably the fastest growing business coach out there. Incredible, right? Like, just really good stuff. But I had to heal some things. I don't know exactly what it was. And I'm like, now I notice, I have all these things that I should do, but I don't quite resonate. And I'm still paying for another 4 months, and that's completely, totally okay. Okay. I'm not going to go. It's like, hey, I want it back, right? It's how it is. But I'm giving myself permission to acknowledge, okay, whatever is in there for me is no longer there for me anymore. I'm curious, has this happened to you when you're just totally activated by somebody, and then something shifts within you, you heal something, you complete something, and it's like, okay, it's flat. And I know I have outgrown that to an extent. Shayna says that's totally true. Thank you so much, Shayna. I'm glad, very happy it resonates. Okay. Rose says, yes, that happened twice. Yeah. So now we're going to translate that to your business, right? Because when you understand this, so I paused a little bit because I want an opportunity for you to acknowledge that this happened with other coaches, and stop making it mean something about that other person. Because as long as you're making it mean something about that other person, you're going to make it mean something about you when people leave your program, or when people fall out of resonance, and when people don't resonate with you. Okay. Yes. Okay, somebody says yes, and my inner guidance. Hello, Facebook user is asking me to work on something else and pivot. Okay, got it. Another Facebook user, wonderful Facebook users. I'll log in and see who you are. Don't worry about it after we're off of here. My first business coach, still love her, but I can't accept the shift that she's in, right? And it's not about, this is to remember, it's not about the business coach. They're holding a certain frequency, or they're on the move. I'm on the move, right? I have been on the move. It has been wild and crazy, and people don't accept the shifts that I'm in. Not everybody accepted the shift that I'm in, right? So things are wildly changing. For those of you who've been around my content for a while, you guys have probably noticed the wild shifts. And when you look at other business coaches, still the same, right? For years and years and years. And that's totally perfect. And they acknowledge their soul's mission to stay true to that particular frequency, versus for me, I'm like, let's go. I am transcending, I'm transforming, I'm doing that, right? So, okay. Yes. Okay, Cynthia says, I have been taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Okay, Facebook user, hello, Facebook user says, the shift you're in is exactly why I'm here. Well, thank you so much, right? And other people aren't here, right? Exactly for that reason. So, okay, so let's talk about this. Your business and your ideal clients, right? Sometimes you'll be going through shifts because your soul is asking for that. You're going to be like, for me, quite honestly, right now, it's like 90% healing work, 10% doing or some business work. I am the slowest that I have ever been in my entire life. Literally, like today, 0 plans. Oh, I guess we'll do live. Okay, let me put it on Facebook. Let's do it in a couple hours. And, copy and paste it over email. That's all. The rest of my time, when Lexi's not here, my 2-year-old is literally, or when she's in bed, it's literally healing, unraveling, healing, unraveling. Oh my gosh, one thing after another. And I know when I'm done, I will know. It's like, okay, we are landing. We have landed at some point. Now it's time to go big, right? So we kind of go through those ebbs and flows in business. So now bring this back to your own situation. People will resonate with you or they won't based on their soul's journey. And you have to understand this. When you are, especially if you're talking about super high consciousness, high level stuff, you have to also understand the distribution of the consciousness distribution of your Facebook friends who are listening to this. Okay. And the more, I guess I'm going to say the higher level concepts you talk about, it gets thinner and thinner and thinner. And there's only going to be a group of people who are going to get it, who are going to resonate with it, right? Because that is where they are on their path. Statistically, and I'm going to bring this back to the Map of Consciousness by Dr. David R. Hawkins. Okay, granted, this was calibrated, oh gosh, Rose, you probably know, but this is like calibrated a long time ago, and the distribution have probably shifted dramatically. But when you look at the scale, the Map of Consciousness, then 85% of humanity is below the level of integrity, which means they are really driven and motivated by the need to feel safe, by their fear, by getting and providing for themselves and things of that nature. So when you're talking about those things, and when you're kind of in that frequency, even though it's an empowering post, right? When you're feeding into that, you're going to have a lot of audience. Is this making sense? What I'm saying, you guys, right? But as you go up and you heal and you transcend, your audience is going to start to thin a little bit, until, there's 2 things that can be going on. Your Facebook friends are all growing with you. Awesome. Congratulations, right? For some of you, you're going to shift and mix. This is why, you do fresh networking. Meet the people in this group. Be friends with them. Those are the people, in other groups, other spiritual focused groups as well, multidimensional groups, whatever that is calling you, right? And you gotta upgrade your friendships a little bit, right? And then you're going to see. I've been actually working on that. I was trying to defriend a bunch of people that literally are like, there's no interaction whatsoever on Facebook. And I was also trying to clean up our group here, because there's a lot of people who never even come here, never engage. But then I gave up because it was too tedious to do, quite frankly, right? But it's like, you got to understand that when you put your posts out there, when you talk about those issues that are really like around what you do and your work and your passion and your revelations, right? It's like the people who are like, the higher it goes, the number of people it's going to resonate with is going to get thinner, right? And it takes time and it takes adjustment for people to catch up. Same thing in your coaching programs. As you grow, as you do your growth, it's going to be like, you have to wait it out. You have to adjust. You have to wait for the new people to come to you, do the networking, make the connections, talk to the people you resonate with, right? And they're going to come to your materials. Right now we have an email list of 10,000 people, and guess what? Like, a lot of them came to us 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, and I'm gonna say like 60% of them don't even resonate. I don't know why they haven't unsubscribed, but they don't resonate. They're not opening the email, right? And then we have 40%. Actually, it's more than 45% who are continuously opening the email, right? So anyhow, I hope that makes sense. And I wanted to bring this up so that you remember that when you start judging yourself, why are people not responding? Why is not everybody liking my post? I know it's in alignment. I know it's coming from my heart, right? It's just that people are not there yet. That does not mean that you give up and you start dumbing it down to the previous version of you. You see, this is important. You do not start dumbing it down to the previous version of you just to get business. Okay? Why not? Why don't you dumb it down? Why do we not dumb down our content to lower frequency to resonate with people? And not that there is anything wrong with it if you choose to do that thing, because this we tie it to the first conversation that we had. The frequency of how you operate your business as a whole. When you look at it statistically, the majority of people who are watching you, who are following you, a lot of them are quiet, a lot of them are silent, a lot of them don't even want to say hi because they're whatever reason, it's like, but they're still getting the transformation, even though they might never become a client. And that's actually the majority of the people. But your service, your mission as a whole is what? To sell people into your program? Or is it to cause transformation and liberation and healing on the planet? When you connect to that, when you really truly connect to that intention, I am that, transformation occurs on the planet. Okay? You keep the frequency the same. You understand that it's going to be triggering to some people. You keep the frequency high. You talk at the level that you want to talk at. What comes natural? All your revelations. You don't dumb it down. You don't squash yourself. You don't minimize yourself. You don't leave things out because it's too triggering and too weird for people, right? It's like, well, I can't talk about it. I had an entity attack last night. I can talk about it because it's going to freak people out. Okay, let them. The people who are meant to see it, well, it's going to see it. They're going to be triggered by it. It's going to freak them out. That's okay. Okay? Because if this resonates with you, if it doesn't, let it go. If you really hate the idea of your own truth triggering other people and you can't bring yourself there, that's okay. That's okay. I totally go with what feels good. Okay. However, when you accept that the people who there's going to be people who will be ashamed to click like on your post. There's going to be people who will be ashamed to comment because they're like, she's a little weird. She's been sounding really weird. She sounds like a conspiracy theorist these days. What the heck? Or something. But it's like, that's okay. That's totally okay. Let them be triggered. It's still creating the transformation. They're sitting with it. You're going to be talking high-level stuff. You're going to be talking liberation. You're going to be talking about your ego. You're going to be talking things that they have no idea about. But how many times did you hear something and resist it until you said, okay, there's something here for me. There's something here for me. And then you're like, holy shit, I get exactly what this person was talking about. Have you been in that situation? Super curious. Okay, I'm jumping on those comments. Oh, Christina's in the house. I was just talking about you. So awesome. So awesome. Good to have you do. Okay. Shayna says, I'm constantly helping people clear karmic, ancestral, and past life stuff. It's all coming out now. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So let people come, let people tag along. Okay. Christina is a good example. I followed your stuff and I'm like, okay, this is weird. Christina, I hope that's okay that I shared that, but I was doing Christina's, I was helping Christina 3 years ago or something, 2.5 or something like that. I'm like, okay, this is some weird stuff, I I was like, okay, talking to all these light beings, I'm not gonna, it's like, okay, I don't know how I feel about this. And it was very confronting to my programming, especially coming from so much of the like, don't engage with the stuff that you don't understand, blah, blah, blah. It was very confronting, right? So it can be like that. And guess what? I'm her client now. There you have it, right? It's how it happens. So that's like the perfect example of how that works. So don't shy away. Just trust yourself and share away on your Facebook page. Yes, people are going to be triggered. That is okay. That is okay. All right. Did I tell you? I'm glad I was at least honest. I didn't pretend. That's so funny. Okay. Okay. All right. Next topic, brand auditing. Okay. So, alrighty. Brand auditing. I was actually sitting now with Danny, who was on with us on the VIP day last week, and we were doing a little bit of a brand audit. And I thought I could bring this conversation here and have you guys kind of look at your brand and how you communicate. And I'm talking specifically about your website, which is sort of your business card, right? And what you actually communicate there. So Danny's thing is him and his wife work with the sacred mushroom to help people heal their relationships, right? So they have this one modality that really works for them, that has worked for them. They're bringing that to the world. Awesome stuff. So you have your healing process, the things that you do to heal people. Well, you have to get clear in your communication is what I'm really talking about your website. I'm not talking about your social media and your inspiration and your heart, your resonance marketing, none of that. I'm talking about your website and how you communicate there. You have to be clear about where the people are that you're selling a particular program or service to. So in their case, for example, I was asking him, okay, is it for people who are completely or not completely, who are literally like struggling in the thick of it, totally in the matrix, totally programmed, totally haven't even started their healing journey, but they were just like the struggles are getting too much. Like they're literally like their relationship isn't working, nothing is happening. That's one of the stages, right? And give me a yes in the chat if that's the phase that you really love assisting with, right? Because that's like when people have hit their pinnacle of their perfectionism journey, they're like built all the protective layers, they're like, perfected their life maybe as much as they could, and it's really not working because all the fake identities, all the false identities, all the trauma-based, layers. And they're so disconnected from themselves. They're so disconnected from their soul, and they just don't know why they're not happy. And they may have even achieved like they have achieved like all the worldly success. They might have even the millions, or they have raised in the corporate ladder, and they even have like on paper perfect husband, whatever, and like their kids are going to college and they check all the boxes, and they're still not happy, right? They're still perfecting. And they're kind of hitting like, oh my gosh, what do I do here, right? So if that is your target market, it's going to be very different what you put on your website than when it's somebody who is already on the spiritual journey. This is like phase 2. You're on the spiritual journey, but you were totally lost, and maybe you're on the personal growth leg of it, where you're thinking your personal growth is still going to fix all the issues, right? It's like the personal growth space. I feel like in so much of that is really feeding still the perfectionism and the ego. It's like in some crazy ways, and they're still not getting anywhere with it, but they're trying it all and they're confused and they're like, go to a workshop and it makes them happy for a minute, but like 6 weeks later, they're like, why am I still in the same shit here again, right? Or you have people who are like, have heard about the things that you do, right? Whether it's like working with the sacred medicines or multidimensional healing or whatever it is, and they think it's cool and they want to try it out, right? That's another layer, right? That's another stage of development. Or then you go to the people who really, truly, they got it. They got that the healing and the inviting and the dissolving, it's like, and they're so in it with you, right? They're so in it. So the question is, on that journey, what resonates with you most? What's drawing you most? Are you the one who's like, I'm going to unplug the people who are totally plugged in, who are so unconscious, the most unconscious it can be? I'm going to break it down. I'm going to, just help them see. I'm going to shake them up. That's what I'm excited about. Or are you like on the completely other scale of the spectrum when you're really working with the people who get it, who are committed? It's just like, let's go deeper, let's expand wider. So I'm super curious. I'll let you think about that. Where are you pulled? What is the stage? What is like really pulling you? What gets you excited? Let's see. No one is typing yet. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, Cynthia says to be myself and have people want more of me, what I can do for them. Okay, wonderful. That's always a good idea. It's always a good idea. Allow people who are sort of attracted to what you do come to you and sort that out. Right. But as you have, as you walk through all the stages, you can kind of choose, right? You can go like, okay, I want to work with the beginners and really, cause some crazy shifts for the most advanced people. Really curious where you guys are at. While you guys are thinking about this, okay, I see some comments now coming through. All right. Facebook user says, I have folks that straddle the zone between unconscious discomfort and understanding the soul's contract I have made. Okay. Interesting. Wow. So cool. Awesome. I'd love to hear some examples of that work that you do. Sounds really awesome. Okay. Shane says, helping people get clarity around patterns and issues in their life, helping them heal, move forward. Okay, interesting. Sounds like more towards the, yes. Okay, great. Okay. So as you guys define this for yourselves, okay, all right. Cynthia said people have already started their journey of healing, not novices. Okay, and not the really clear people because I'm not advanced enough for them. Okay, I really love that you say that. I really love that you say that. So that's kind of the last topic that I want to talk about, right? We are all somewhere on the journey, just like we talked. We are all somewhere, and we're all somewhere where we're not yet, right? And that is completely and totally okay. And I'm bringing this full circle. There's somewhere you are and there's somewhere you're not yet. And there is a room for all of us. And this is where the self-doubt creeps in. But I'm not here yet. How can I be worthy of teaching? But you embrace exactly where you are and what your current view system, and you stop comparing yourself to this other person over here. And you focus on the people who you know in your heart of hearts you can help. Okay. So anyway, so I really love that you said that, because there's just like, release the shame, like, which you have already done. You've obviously done, Cynthia. It's like releasing the shame of who we're not yet, letting that go. And it's like, okay, if I was thinking all day long about who I'm not yet, because I work with people who are so far advanced spiritually from where I am. And if I let that get to me, I couldn't even show up on camera, right? I would never say anything. It was constantly, yeah, but I don't know anything about this. And, and there's going to be people in my audience who are more advanced, and they can see this and they're like, what is she talking about? And there's going to be some of that. So this is really where self-acceptance and self-forgiveness and just understanding where we're at and we're not where we're not. And you own that, and you bring your full heart into helping those people who are 3, 4, 5, 10 steps behind you. Okay. Yes. Okay. Somebody says, I'm training to be somebody I'm not yet. Yes. So am I. Love this. Okay. Yes. All right. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is, I wrote a note for myself here. Don't let your old version of the business bind you to the old version of you. So this is like a completely off-topic quote that it came through, and I just like, I need to bring this up. And it might not be for all of you, but it might resonate with some of you. Okay. We are in times of really, truly accelerated growth where we are doing so much inner healing. There's so much that is coming through. It's like insane. Like, it's been like, I don't even know. But this is where, right, these things are happening for us, and sometimes we have to leap. We have to leap into new programs. We have to leap into different customer base. We have to leap completely in different teachings. When you're transcending and transforming at this pace, do not let your business and the way life is bind your consciousness to that. Okay. Sometimes you need to let a program run through if you're teaching a year-long program, or you can end it early and issue refunds, or you can reset the program and start over, things like that, right? Or you can consciously decide, you can separate from it consciously and by intention. Okay, I'm committed to teaching this and holding space at this level by intention, right? So you can do that by intention. You're going to be teaching in this program that is still running at this level. But you have to be really cautious that it doesn't create a conflict within you. And to sort of resolve the conflict, you're going to bind yourself to that level. I'm not sure if what I said makes any sense for you. It makes sense in my head when I said that. But it's something to it's something to really be conscious of as we're going through these changes, and to allow those changes to sort of integrate and to move you into the next version of you. So let me check the chat. Okay, let's see. Okay, Facebook user says that makes perfect sense. Thank you so much, dear Facebook user. Christina says, can you say it again? Oh my gosh, I have no idea what I just said. You know what? I'm going to read the quote that I wrote for myself again. Don't let the old version. Yeah, I can see it's confusing. Don't let the old version of the business bind you to the old version of you. Basically, that might not be worded properly, but basically what I'm saying, as you go through your growth, don't let the obligation to teach at a certain level of frequency and being bind to it energetically slow your own growth. Okay. I hope that makes sense. There's more to it than that. And I'm sure you get that at, like, we can do it through intention. It's like, okay, I'm going to teach at a frequency 230 or whatever, and that's totally fine. I'm just not going to be attached to that frequency. I'm going to let myself. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Let's see. I'm here for the awakening masters to remember themselves. Love. And Let's see. Cynthia says trauma affects people in different ways. Some get frozen and unable to deal with it and drive others forward. I also tend to think for those it drives forward, there comes a reckoning point in adult life. Yes. Okay. Yes. 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 That's exactly it. That's what I was talking about. But I think of it as kind of like you're building. You're kind of building all these layers, and you're just all these, like, you're perfecting the, for me, it was like the superwoman. I'm going to perfect it all. I'm going to just, hyper perform on all levels, until it all broke down. And like, I want to say, like, it's going to be close to 100 plant medicine ceremonies in the past. I don't know. I'm crazy. However long, but it's like, okay, I'm just like, I'm ready. Break me down some more. Help me heal this, help me heal that. Let me connect here, let me connect there. It's like just deconstruction. So fun, so good. Love the deconstruction process. Yes. Okay. Yes. There's a lot of retooling, and sometimes it can be really destabilizing. Like, it's just like, oh my gosh, like, I'm going to retool this, and then I have to retool this again. And it's craziness. So, my dears, it was so fun to be with you all. Really enjoyed hanging out. Thank you so much for being here. In terms of, for those of you who are interested how to work with us, there is a buying guide that is pinned to the top of the group in the featured section. We have, for those of you who feel called and who are really, you're like, really, okay, I'm just really a leader, or I want to be a leader in the new paradigm space, in the space of transformation. We have a mastermind for that. It's called the Visionary Circle. It's wonderful, but it kind of has to call to you. There's an application process, and we have the program school, which is a 5-week, there's going to be a week break, and it's a business building immersion where we're going to focus on building your program. Cynthia is part of that. I'm so excited to have you in. Congratulations. And we're going to work on downloading your body of work, constructing your program out of that, and constructing your custom launch strategy. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be lots of fun things we're going to do, and it's included for the members of the Visionary Circle. So, yes, awesome. So, yes. So you guys can check that out. And there's links there too up on top. Thank you so much for being here. Love y'all. And I'm going to check who all the Facebook users are so I can acknowledge you on my phone. All right. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Mwah.